story, and Eef wrote a song based on the story 25 years ago. And so when I found out that I was going to be sharing a stage with Eef, I thought I should tell the story, and then Eef could come back on and sing the song that he wrote based on the story. So that's what's going to happen now. So, here we go. So the story starts, that's me in the 90s with Omar Bakri Mohammed, the militant Islamist, who said he wouldn't rest until he saw the flag of Islam flying over Downing Street in the White House. So I asked if I could follow him around for a year while he overthrew democracy, and he said okay. And then he outed me as a Jew at his jihad training camp in Crawley in southeast London. He said to all his jihad trainees, he said, "Look at me with the infidel John, who is a Jew." And they all went, "Ah!" I said, "Surely it's better to be a Jew than an atheist." And I heard someone say, "No, it isn't." The crazy thing about that story is that I am an atheist. So why I would choose, of all places, to assert my Jewishness for pretty much the only time in my life I chose a jihad training camp. So anyway, it was Omar who first said to me, "Did you know that there was a shadowy cabal secretly ruling the world from inside a secret room? They're called the Bilderberg Group." And I said no, and I forgot all about it. But then, a year later, there you go, that's me. That's a Ku Klux Klan puppy. That's me with the Ku Klux Klan. It was a politically correct faction of the Ku Klux Klan who banned the robes and the hoods and the cross burnings, and they banned all the things that were presumably the most fun about being in the Ku Klux Klan. Instead, they had a marquee in the Grand Wizard's garden where they all had to fill out multiple choice questionnaires about which strengths and weaknesses most applied to them. I always remember that one of them was mixes easily, which usually would be a strength, but if you're in the Klan, it's a weakness. So they said the same thing. They said, "Did you know that there was a shadowy cabal, secret rulers of the world, secretly ruling the world called the Bilderberg Group?" So I thought, well, I better see if I can sneak into a meeting of the Bilderberg Group and catch them red-handed going about their covert wickedness. So I discovered that the Bilderberg Group was going to be meeting, they always meet once a year in a 5-star hotel with golfing facilities, and that's where they secretly rule the world from. So I tried to sneak into a Bilderberg meeting in Sintra, Portugal. Me and a conspiracy theorist called Big Jim Tucker snuck around the hotel the day before the Bilderberg Group was supposed to arrive. And then we left. And as we left, I noticed in my rear view mirror that I was being tailed. I was being followed by the shadowy henchmen stroke security guards of the Bilderberg Group, and I freaked out. I phoned the British Embassy and I said, "I'm being tailed right now by a dark green Lancia belonging to the Bilderberg Group." And I heard her go, "Oh," and then she went, "Go on." I said, "I'm sorry, I just heard you take a sharp breath." And she said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm essentially a humorous journalist out of my depth. Maybe you can phone the Bilderberg office and tell them that." So she said to me, she said, "Well, the good news is if you know you're being followed, they're probably just trying to intimidate you, and the dangerous ones would be those that you don't know are following you." But I was scant comfort, because I thought, well, what if they are the dangerous ones, and I just happen to be naturally good at spotting them? So a car chase ensued. I say a car chase. I was going 30 miles an hour, so was he. But if I'd gone faster, he would have gone faster. So that was terrifying, and I failed to get into a Bilderberg meeting, but then I discovered that the secret rulers of the world also meet at a place called Bohemian Grove. And on the Friday, this is a summer camp in the forests of Northern California, and on the Saturday night, they're rumoured to have a ritual that culminates in a papier-mâché effigy being thrown into a bonfire in front of a giant stone owl. So I thought, well, that can't be true. But then I saw a photograph that had been smuggled out, and there you go. So I thought, well, I've got to try and sneak in. So I phoned up David Icke, the conspiracy theorist, and I said, I'm thinking about sneaking into Bohemian Grove. Do you want to come? And he said, no, that's where they transform themselves back into giant lizards. So people go missing from those forests. Stay away. Well, I thought, I don't want to try and do this alone. So I remembered I'd met a fledgling conspiracy broadcaster a year earlier in Austin, Texas. You may or may not have heard of him. His name was Alex Jones. So I phoned up Alex Jones and I said, I'm thinking about sneaking into Bohemian Grove. Do you want to come? And he said, yes, I'll smuggle a camera in and we'll get in and we'll confront those globalist Satanists going about their covert evil. And I said, I think stealth might be a better approach. He said, okay, stealth. So we went to Bohemian Grove, me and Alex, and our plan, or this was Alex's plan, had been to rent a boat, sail it up the river, climb the mountain, and get in that way. And then we met a local lawyer called Rick, who had himself infiltrated Bohemian Grove. And Rick said to us, if you go in that way, you're going to get yourself killed. And I always remember Alex got out his notepad and wrote down, going in that way, --killed. So we said, well, how should we do it? He said, easy. You go to the local Eddie Bauer, buy yourself some preppy clothes, and then just walk up the drive, giving the security guard a kind of I rule the world wave. So that's what we did. We went to the local Eddie Bauer, and I have a very short clip of Alex and his producer Mike practicing being preppy so we could infiltrate a secret club where Henry Kissinger and George Bush were going to take part in a mock human sacrifice.
Walk normally as we would, calmly, la la la. There's we guys sitting there, and we're fat cats, so let's go ahead. But seriously, David, as fast as microprocessors are starting to move, it's getting down to a molecular level. The question is, at what level will just the actual basics of science stop us from making these systems smaller? And it's the entire nanotechnology revolution that I find most dynamic. I agree.
By the way, if you're wondering what happened to Mike, he inherited his father's farm and struck oil and became the richest man in his county. And I don't know what happened to Alex. So we managed to sneak into Bohemian Grove, and before I asked Eef to come on and sing the song that he wrote inspired by the story that I'm telling you, I'm going to show you a couple of very short clips of the ritual that we managed to secretly film inside Bohemian Grove. By the way, I just walked up the drive. I did exactly what Rick the lawyer said. I walked up the drive wearing my peppy clothes, and I got in that way. But Alex was worried that maybe this was a kind of Wicker Man type situation, and we were all part of a plot to lure him into the forest, and he would be the one sacrificed in front of the giant owl. So just to be on the safe side, he went in via the undergrowth, got a terrible rash, but we all managed to get in, and we secretly filmed the ceremony. I'm going to play a tiny clip. It's all on YouTube if you want to see the whole incredibly long ceremony. Here's a very short clip from it.
Which hither ye have thought of regions where I reign. Ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire.
has a good effect. That's the voice of Dolcare spitting on the head of the high priest. Anyway, then this papier-mâché effigy arrives on a gondola and is thrown into a bonfire, and everyone goes, yeah! And then everybody sings When the Saints Go Marching In. And that's at the end of the night. Except there's San Francisco Philharmonic are there, and there's a big firework display. Anyway, Alex decided that what we might have witnessed was an actual human sacrifice. So he brought out a video called Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove, where he claimed that that was what we had seen.
There was lots of smacking on lips and bizarre enjoyment by the crowd. We still haven't made out exactly what was going on, but that a real sacrifice may have actually been developing according to some occult experts.
And one more tiny here.
There you see the funeral pyre burning with the effigy of a human, or it could be real, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a lot of strange going on in that area of Northern California.
You know, there's a phrase in Judaism called dayenu. This is sufficient. Personally, I think what we actually saw was sufficient. That Alex being Alex had to add a layer of paranoid fiction on top of the reality, which put me in the awkward position of having to go around the world tempering his craziness by basically becoming a defender of the Bush family's right to have a mock human sacrifice. So that's the story, and I was really thrilled because I love Eef and I love Clem Snyder, and I was really thrilled to find out that Eef had written a song based on that story. So now I'm going to ask Eef to come back on and sing the song. Eef! Before you sing it, can I just ask, you decided to make it a romance song. Why did you do that?
I don't know, John.
Okay, well,
I'm just thrilled to be following Alex Jones.
I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you all very much.
It's called The Ballad of David Icke. And it goes like this. The secret rulers of the world, they have stolen my girl. They whisked her away in a black limousine, and that was the last of her I'd ever seen. 'Cause they knew that her heart was the purest of pure. Through unbearable suffering she would endure, when she told of the lies and the hatred they spread, and how blood of blonde children was used in their bread. So she opened her mouth to the cold lizard tongue that was speaking in code of the work to be done, to make sure that the truthful are made to look mad, and the starving fed ashes for which they are glad. 'Cause her brain was a camera, they just had to look, and they sensed she was wise from the pictures she took, which were not unlike anything you've ever seen. To be drowning in honey, awake in a dream. The secret rulers of the world, they have stolen my girl. They whisked her away in a black limousine, and that was the last of her I'd ever seen. They whisked her away in a black limousine, and that was the last of her I'd ever seen.